In this video, I'm going to teach you guys how to play Succession Tamer less than 1 hour. If you haven't heard about me, I'm basically making all the video challenges of all characters of tutorial guys, and so if you think that's really cool and great idea, please give me a like and subscribe so that way you guys can maybe check out all the class videos that I'm about to make in my future videos. And so what are we waiting for? Let's get this started. Let's learn about her secondary skills. First of all, we have a grab, which is E soaring kick. And so it's very nice grab. All you guys have to do is just go close, press E, and then give some nice floating. I'll teach you guys the knockdown later, but yeah, just keep that in mind that once you guys actually get a grab, just keep in mind the second stuff that you guys need to use is knockdown. After that, we have a flurry of kicks, which is holding F, but the thing is, with this skill, it kind of clashes with this one, with the Magnus skill, which is F also right here. And so if you want to actually use this ability, we want to actually put it on a hotkey, for example, number 7. And then when you guys press number 7, look what happens. Literally nothing happens, no super armor, iframe, so please lock it. We're not going to use this skill at all. After that, we have a stretch kick, and it's basically down F. Just like that. It does have a nice floating, however, it does not have an iframe or super armor. So I kind of don't really recommend using this ability, so I would also lock it as well. However, let's say that you guys were actually using it, and then you guys also need to lock this one because there's actually a flow skill that you guys can use, which is F during fearful trembling. And so this is the fearful trembling right here, which is Shift Q, and then let's press F and see what happens. So something like that, you guys can do something like that, but however, you know, they get a CC from the first one anyways, and then, you know, you're also giving a CC on that right away after as well, right? And so if you guys think about it, it's really useless combo because now you basically gave them 2 CCs and literally kind of useless, you know what I mean? And so we're just gonna lock that and move on to the next one. Tree climb is amazing. It has an iframe. It literally has like a perm iframe, guys. Look at that. It's amazing skill, and the time is very short, which is 6 seconds. So you guys definitely want to spam that on your skills scenarios. And so what you guys want to do for that one usually would be basically WF, and then get a grab, right? And that's what you guys can do. And then after that, knockdown, for example, right? And so always do that tree climb and E grab. It's amazing combo. I highly recommend using that as a tamer player. Evasive attack, it is A or D and LMB. And it does have like a knockback. However, again, it does not have any like front guard, iframe. So I would just lock it because it's just too risky to use on PvP scenarios. But PvE, feel free to use it for sure. Next, I would like to talk about is Legendary Beast Power. In order to use that is Shift Spacebar. And you guys basically have to time it right, and also, you know, it's only 1.5 seconds cooldown. And he has a super armor, so it's very nice for your movement skills. However, if you guys press Shift Space too early again, it basically makes you jump. And so just keep that in mind and just be very careful, because if you guys jump from that matter of time, you guys will basically get knockdowns or get CC'd. So I highly don't recommend you, getting caught by that. And also keep in mind what I usually like to do is putting on a hotkey as well. And so that way maybe you don't have to press shift space in order to use it. So instead of shift space, I'm just spamming number 1 right now, for example. And you guys maybe can do that as well in this scenario. So that way you guys don't have any problems, pressing shift space and then accidentally, pressing spacebar and make yourself in a danger position. And then after that, we have next is evasion, which is, WW to go. And then he has an iframe and super armor quickly. And so this is very nice movement skill that you guys can use, right? So you guys want to move around and then get a grab, for example, right? And then you guys can also do sideways too, right? Which is AA or DD. Or what people can do for sideways is like Shift A and Shift D as well if AA or DD is too fast for you. However, they do have a S shift too, but then keep in mind that that doesn't have an iframe, so just be very careful. So once again, the highly suggested one is using either the side ones or going forward. And also look at this one, which is flow leap. And if you guys also look at it, it basically jumps in front of people. However, look at this one. It does not have any iframes or super armor whatsoever. So it's very risky. And so what I would like to do is just, lock that one and instead just use evasion. For example, if you want to go in front of them, just move your mouse like this and then press DD, right? And then you guys can still skip around just by using this evasion skill. Keep in mind, reading some passive kind of tells you guys how to play the character. For example, on the passive, if I get this to 20, I get max stamina of plus 10 each. And so plus 10 times plus 20 is 200 stamina. And so we have basically 200 stamina thanks to this passive. However, what that means is that we're basically looking for opportunities. And so until we're looking for opportunities, we basically want to just spam our evasion, right? And then our dashing movements. And then whenever we have an opportunity, just get a nice grab if you can. If you miss it, then just keep moving around as well, right? So this is what you guys need to do on, playing on Tamer. And just keep using your stamina and looking for opportunities, right? And then once your stamina goes out, just run away, back off, right? And then get your stamina back. And then basically do the same thing. And then once you guys have an opportunity and get a grab, that's when you guys want to do some kind of combos and try to kill them. Now we basically talk about secondary skills. Let's talk about our main skills. We have Healing's Aura, and basically is our E-buff. What I usually like to do is just lock that one and then put it on my hotkey, for example, tab. In order to put on a tab key, basically you guys have to click this bar right here and then click yes, and then click tab, and then it basically saves it as a tab key. And so you guys can maybe do that as well if you guys don't want to use the Shift E for your E-buff. However, it does have all DP plus 20, movement speed plus 15%, all resistance 20%, and all evasion rate 15%. After that, now we have a Moonlight Strike, which is WC. And it basically is a very nice skill for movement skill. And so for example, like we talked about, again, a nice movement skill for this one is WC, and then getting a grab after that will be a nice combo. It also has bleeding effect and damage, and yeah, it has super armor. It's an amazing skill, guys, and the cooldown is only 4 seconds. So try to spam that as well and just be aggressive and then use much as you can on your PvP fights. After that, we have an all-round spinner, which is down C. And then we can also actually quick cast using LMB, RMB on certain skills. So this is what it looks like when we do down C. And then he also has a forward guard, so it's an amazing skill if you guys just want to give nice damage and just have a forward guard in front of you. Keep in mind that, there is stiffness and floating, and that's only for PvE only, and so don't get tricked by that they, have stiffness or floating right here. You definitely have to hover, and then you guys see the brackets, it says PvE only. That basically tells you guys if it has a floating or stiffness for PvP. So later on, I'm going to teach you guys the combo for LMB, RMB. What I'm going to basically teach you guys is, you guys going to use scratch, which is, sideways RMB. And then after that, we're going to press spacebar and then use this trample. And then after that, we're going to use all around. So this is what it would look like. After that, we have this skill, and you guys need to do Magnus quest in order to unlock this skill, which is Dark Gaylor. And then in order to use it, just press F, and then it has a really nice iframe in the very beginning, and then after that, Kamehameha in the front of you, and just gives nice damage. And also, we can actually perform instantly after a certain skill. For example, try Shift F, and then hold F after that. And then boom, just like that, we basically cast it right away. So these are some really good combos that you guys need to know after, giving them a knockdown. And then after that, using some kind of ability, just like that. Then we have a Prime Roaring, which is Shift C. And it's a very nice skill. It also has a movement speed of debuffing of minus 30% for 10 seconds. And he also recovers 20 HP per hit. And he also has a really nice super armor, so I highly recommend, just using it just to give a really good amount of damage. But I'm going to teach you guys later on how we're going to use it on our combos. After that, we have a skill called Upward Claw, which is down RMB. And just like that, it has a nice floating. However, it does not have a super armor iframe, and so use it on your own risk. However, it also gives you all accuracy rate of 9 seconds if you use this ability. So before engaging to the enemy, maybe you guys want to, buff yourself up and get yourself free, accuracy of 9%. Next, we're going to use this skill called Fear for Trembling. And it's one of the greatest skill for tamers. And the reason behind that is it has a super armor and he has a very nice CC. And then after that, what you guys need to do is second knockdown, for example, right? And so that's why this can be very, very good for, being aggressive fights. And then, just moving around with your evasion. And then boom. And then if they actually get CC'd, give them a knockdown, right? For example. After that, let's say that we met with the high evasion people. Don't worry, we're going to use this on them, which is Surging Tide. And if you use this skill, which is Shift F, we can basically give all evasion rate debuff of -6% for 10 seconds. And also gives them a debuff of movement speed of -20% as well. And so what we need to do is, for example, just give them a CC, give them a knockdown, and what we're gonna do is, for example, Shift F and then holding F, remember that combo, and do something like that in our combo later on. However, you can also just use it itself for in the very beginning, because it does have a nice forward guard, and so maybe you guys can use that, right? And then give them a nice CC, and then after nice CC, give them a knockdown again for a second CC. Now we're going to talk about Lightning of Earth, which is going to be your most important skill that you guys need to know, which is W+RMB, is because if we use it, it gives a knockdown. And so we always want to use this skill for second CC, for example, and it also actually has a decent range as well. So just like that, guys, we have about distance right here, and they can still get knocked down in that situation. And also keep in mind that they also have a debuff of all DP -20. And so always use that, guys, once you guys give a nice CC. W+RMB to give a nice stun, and then doing your crazy combos that I'm about to teach you guys later on. And then we have a trample that we just talked about, which, for example, we need to use spacebar after certain attacks. And so remember that we use, for example, using scratch, right? Which is sideways RMB, and let's press spacebar and see what happens. Boom, just like that, and has a nice CC as well, and just gives a really nice damage. And don't forget, it does give debuff of all accuracy rate of -9%. And so it's really nice skill to use on your combos. And so yeah, I will show you guys how it works later on as well. Throat Burn, which is Shift+RMB, has a forward guard and just nice damage. And so if you guys just want to use that on your PvPs, feel free to do that. And if you want to be a crazy girl, just hold RMB and see what happens, which is going to be using Whiplash. So that's what it looks like. It also doesn't have an iframe and super armor, so maybe you just want to use that on PvE grindings and stuff like that. However, not recommended using on PvP unless, you know, you're down on the floor and then you want to whip them, you know, while they're on the ground. Sure, feel free to do that. And then we're gonna talk about is absolute scratch. We just talked about, which is A or D RMB, just like this. And he has amazing super armor, and he has a stiffness. It's amazing for a PvP fight, guys. And so we always want to spam this as much as we can. And then the cooldown is reasonable. It's 6 seconds in order to use it. After that, there's a really fun part, which is W+RMB while airborne. And so we need to jump and then press W+RMB and see what happens. Hiyo! And it gives a nice scratch right there, and give them a nice Asian massage. He also has a nice stiffness. What do we do after stiffness? Knockdown, baby. You can also do like sideways like this too, if you guys want. So just keep that in mind. It's also spammable, however, you know, they don't have a stiff or super armor, so don't spam it on PvP, guys. Maybe on PvE. After that, we have our very important skill as a Tamer Succession, which is summon your tiger. Or is a lion? I don't even know what this is, guys. But yeah, now you got your baby out. And what you guys want to do is using some kind of command, for example, right? Which is guard, follow, and help and attack. What I would recommend usually is getting attack and on a hotkey. For example, I want to attack this guy. Press number 4 on him. And then he goes meow meow. And then look at that. He got a nice stiff for me. What do we do? Knockdown, baby. And then we basically do some kind of combos, right? So this is another good strategy, guys, which is while we're doing evasion. My cat is doing my work, right? And then after that, we want to go in and give them a knockdown, for example, right? And do something like that. And that's why Tamer can be very fun, is taking these opportunities. Tamer is all about opportunities, guys. And when you guys have these moments, this is when you guys want to F them up, all right? And so that's what you guys want to do. And then Tamer also has this skill called Absorb Healing. And so in order to use this ability, you're going to need to put it on a hotkey. And it does have a 5-minute 30 seconds cooldown. And when we use it, boom, just like that. And it's basically like ebuff. We basically get so much, you know, skills right here, which is all AP plus 10, all DP plus 10, you know, attack speed 20%, movement speed, critical hit rate 60%, right? And we didn't even use our ebuff, guys, right? And so imagine using this and your freaking, you know, ebuff. That'll be amazing, right? It just gives lots and lots of damage, for example. However, once again, make sure you guys have your attack, you know, ready on PvP. And then once you guys see this red target, press number 4. And then cat goes meow meow. And then all we have to do is give a knockdown and do your combos, right? And so yeah, have fun with that. This is a really cool skill that you guys can use as well, which is Void Lightning. All we have to do is just hold Q and see what happens. And then, and then look at her face, right? It feels like she's kind of pooping, you know. It's kind of scary looking, so I'm not gonna look at her, but you guys get the point, right? It gives amazing AoE damage, and in the very beginning, it actually gives a nice super armor as well. And then you guys can hold it for a very long period of time. And so imagine that we're actually fighting for, you know, for somebody who doesn't have a grab. That can be an amazing skill to use. For example, Wusa or Musa, they don't have any grabs. So this is what you guys can use for a long period of time to get your skill backs, right? For example. And so let's say that your skills are on cooldown. All you have to do is just press Q. And then go from there. Also keep in mind, using that ability, it does give you all DP plus 20, and so it's very nice skill for defensive. And it also gives, you know, enemy debuff of attack speed minus 20% and casting, for example, as well. Or using Void Lightning, also try this, which is called Air Lightning, which is pressing spacebar and then pressing Q. And then your Tigers goes crazy and then gives a nice stiffness. And then you guys can basically give like a knockdown after that if you want, and then do your combos as well. Next, we have a skill called Bolt Wave, and then he actually has like some kind of flow, I guess, for Jolt Wave, which is, you know, press Shift+LMB, and we're going to use this one for the first one in Bolt Wave. And then if you press Shift+LMB again, it's going to use Jolt Wave. So example, Bolt, and then Jolt. So the thing is with that one though, is that Bolt doesn't have any forward guard in the very beginning. So it can be very risky to use on PvPs. But on the second one, it does have a forward guard, so, you know, maybe you guys can use it on PvP, but maybe not recommended because the first one doesn't have a forward guard, and whenever you guys use this ability, you guys have a chance to fall down on the floor. And so, yeah, just take it as your own risk and go from there. After that, we have this skill called Flash, and then we need to use just down LMB, and then he also has a flow, which is right here, which is LMB after Flash, right? So this is what we can do, for example, down LMB, and then hold LMB, and that's how you guys can use both of them, for example. And then after that, we do have this one called Flash Dance, which is down after Flash Pull Thrust. So for example, this, and then this in order to use it, for example, which is down after Flash Point. And so like this, hold LMB and then press down, and that's how you guys can use that on that scenario. I really wish they can change this flow, honestly, guys, because it's very confusing, right? Which is, you know, like holding down LMB and then LMB, which makes sense, which is a really nice flow right there. But then pressing down again, like, it's very confusing, you know? People might have a hard time to do that one, so maybe I don't really recommend you guys using this one. It's very tricky. Please, PA, I really want you to change this, and just to make everybody happy. It is definitely nice to use this Flash Dance Shift though, because the reason behind that is it has all AP debuff for 12 for 10 seconds and magic AP plus 10. But yeah, like, I don't know, it's just really hard to use, guys. And so if you guys have a good practice, feel free to use it, honestly. But if that's too difficult, then yeah, don't bother, because I'm about to teach you guys amazing combos without these ones, basically. We're just going to use Flash though, but yeah, nothing like these ones. It can be very confusing, but if you practice and master it, good for you. I am proud of you. After that, let's talk about our skill enhancements. First, I would recommend using Resonance on PvP because it has a nice super armor, and I feel like it's really nice to have, you know, more super armor, frontal guards, skills for Tamer, because you guys are only looking for opportunities, right? And so that's the reason why you guys want to use something with like super armors and having those moments, because if Cat gives you like nice CC like this, just give a knockdown, right? And then you guys do your thing. And so yeah, just keep up, right? Stay alive. That is the strategy right here. So use something with super armor related. And so that's the reason why we went Resonance right here, and then just give a nice damage after pressing Shift X. After that, I would also recommend using Legendary Beast Claw, and guess what? He has a freaking knockdown, amazing skill. So Shift Z, boom, just like that, it has a knockdown. And so let's say that our W+RMB was on a cooldown. Don't worry, you guys can use Shift Z and then, you know, replace it as well. However, it has a super armor as well, so you definitely want to be aggressive and try to use that as well. And amazing cooldown, 8 seconds. That's it, guys. All right, so spam that shiz as much as you guys can, and also gives you guys all DP plus 10 for 10 seconds. Very STL right now. It's so good. Use it, spam it. And then lastly, we have a lightning burn, and he has a super armor, and you guys must have to put it on a hotkey. For example, number 3 for me, And then if you guys use so just like that, it kind of, you know, backs off, which is really nice. Cool movement skill as well you guys can use. But yeah, it has a super armor, that's the most important part, and just stay alive after using those abilities. And for lighting burn, there is actually a flow skill that you guys can use, which is using Legendary's Beast Claw and then holding LMB. And so let's see what happens if you do that. Shift Z and then let's just hold LMB. Why yeah, and then we basically go forward and then go backwards just like that. And we can also do it on the horror slam right here. And so yeah, if you guys want to do that one as well, and then just hold LMB, you should just back off right away. And then try this one as well. It's really fun skill to use, guys, which is, you know, clicking follow. And then put it on a hotkey and then press like number 7 for me example. And if you guys do so, look at this. I can basically ride on my cat right now basically, and then use some kind of abilities to attack and so on. And so let's say that you guys didn't have a horse in the very beginning, don't worry, you just summon yours, click follow, which is number 7 for me, and then just ride on it. And then now you have a horse for yourself right here, for example. Keep in mind that, guys, right here, if you guys see looking tiger symbols right here, this is a skill that you guys can use when you guys are on top of the tiger. For example, like this, shift space. So now we can basically using dash, using that one, or we can do shift A or shift D, right? In order to use those kind of abilities. And so I will not basically gonna go over through this on this video with the tiger ones. Guess what time it is, guys? It's time for combos. Let's have a scenario. If you guys actually get a grab, this is what it's gonna look like for your combos. And so we start with WF, and then after that get a grab, and then W+RMB for a second knockdown, and SRMB, Shift F, and then hold F, and then SLMB and hold LMB for flow, and then A or D for RMB for scratch, spacebar, LMB, RMB for quick cast. After that, if they have no grabs, add these, which is WC, Shift C, and then add some invasions once in a while there, and then after that, end it with Q. Keep in mind, once we get a CC, somehow either floating or stuns, that's when we take those opportunities and then do our combos, what I taught you guys previously. So I made a scenario here, guys. For example, if you're doing the safe CC, this is what we can do. So we can basically do evasion and then use something like that for scratching. And then after that, we do evasion after again and then Shift F. And then if that didn't work, then, you know, keep doing evasion and then Shift Q. And then after that, you can keep moving around, and if you can get a grab, then get a grab. If not, we just keep moving around, and then if it didn't work, then do Shift Z, and then give it a nice knockdown. And then let's say that all those CCs are basically not available. What we can do is save CC with just damage. And so for example, Q, and then after that Shift RMB, it has a nice forward guard, but nothing. But then Shift C, same thing with super armor, but give, you know, just damage. And then after that SC, forward guard, but nothing. WC, which is dashing in front of them, but nothing again. But Shift X, super armor with nothing but damage. And then lightning burn, which is hotkey on my number 3. And then click that, and then I can give some attack, and then, you know, back out with super armor. However, there are some not safe CCs that you guys can use, but can be risky, but can be rewarded as well. And those can be, for example, SLMB, but then has a nice stiffness, but again, no super armor or frontal guard. And then after that, if you guys want, we can basically use something like scratches and then spacebar, right? Which also gives a nice CC, but again, doesn't have any frontal guard or super armor, so be careful. And then lastly, we have something like SRMB, which gives a nice floating, but once again, nothing. And then after that, you guys know exactly what to do after we practice enough all this, is basically Shift Q. If they're stunned, easy clap W+RMB and give a second knockdown. And guess what we do? All those combos I basically taught you, right? And so that's what we do, guys, as playing a Tamer player. Just keep doing evasion stuff, try to give CCs, and just wait for it. And then if you guys have those moments, boom, give them a knockdown, and then do some combos, and hopefully that you guys will kill them. The best grab is literally this, guys, which is WC and then E, right? And if that's not available, WF, just like this right here, and then get an E, and then now you start your combos just like that. Always keep in mind, always summoning your cat because they will give you a really nice CC. Just go tell them to attack, which is number 4 for me. And then if they're stiffed, give a knockdown, and they are all yours, baby. That's it with this video. Hopefully you learned something as a Tamer Succession. They're very fun on PvP, and so yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if you did so, please like and subscribe on my video. And I'll see you guys in the next time. Hiya!